Well, good morning. Compliments of the season. I am Yori Folani. Hope we meet you well. Let's look at, well, the president, as you know, transmitted a request to, the National Assembly for the 2024-2025 Appropriation Repeal and Reenactment Bill. He transmitted this last week, and all things are going fine because the reps have approved Tinubu's request to extend the said bill. Well, to help us understand it better, what the technical issues are and why this was necessary and what it really means, our guest is Dr. Vincent Wani, economist and investment specialist. Can I just say compliments of the season to you, Dr. Wani? Thank you very much for coming on. Okay. While that is being sorted out, you will hear us ultimately. We do have a package for you, so let's take that package now.
Two separate correspondences from President Bola Tinubu, dated December 18th, dominated proceedings in the House over the weekend and into Tuesday. Chairman of the House Committee on Appropriation, Kabir Abubakar, presented the committee's reports just before the House resolved into the Committee of Supply. The reports recommended the repeal of the earlier 2025 budget of 54.99 trillion naira and its reenactment at 48.31 trillion naira, in line with the president's request. Of the revised figure, 3.64 trillion naira is allocated for statutory transfers, 14.31 trillion naira for debt servicing, while 13.58 trillion naira is set aside for recurrent non-debt expenditure.
The committee made the following observation and findings. Under the 2024 Appropriation Act Repeal and Enactment, the bill, an additional of 8.5 trillion was introduced into the capital component to accommodate special intervention, particularly in response to the security, humanitarian, and economic emergencies.
The House also repealed and reenacted the 2024 Appropriation Act, approving a revised budget of 43.56 trillion naira.
Debt servicing 8 trillion 270 billion 960 million 606,831, while recurrent expenditure is 11 trillion 268 billion 513 million 380,853.
At the Committee of Supply, the House passed both bills in quick succession, and the third readings of the bills are taken.
Contribution to the Development Fund for Capital Expenditure for the year ending 31st March 2026, and for related matters, and in so doing, approve clauses 1 to 13, the schedules and the long title of the bill.
During the presentation of the 2026 budget, President Bola Tinubu had urged lawmakers to repeal and reenact the two appropriation acts to avoid running multiple budgets simultaneously. The House has now adjourned plenary to allow members to observe the Christmas and New Year holidays. Legislative activities are scheduled to resume on January 27th, 2026. Joke Edsa, TVC News, Abuja.
Okay, then, there you have it, those mind-boggling figures. There was a time when billions became the new sort of catchphrase. Now that's been surpassed by trillions, and it's mind-boggling, actually. Well, Dr. Vincent Wani is our expert. He's an economist and investment specialist. He's joining us remotely, and he's going to help us understand this. So, Dr. Wani, let me see. Good morning again. Can you hear us now?
Good morning, my brother, and compliments of the season.
Indeed, I wish you the same. Thank you very much. I was just talking about these mind-boggling figures. So now we're in the era of trillions. Two bills sent to the National Assembly for amendment and reenactment. First of all, why necessary? There was a line in there. The whole idea was to avoid operating two bills, one after two bills that had come one after the other at the same time. How do these kind of economic situations come into being that has necessitated the request by the president to take this corrective action if you want. What's going on?
Okay, thank you very much. We all understand that about 2 weeks ago, there was a circular from, I think, the Federal Minister of Finance, also advising the MDAs across the country that 70% of the 2025 budget is being carried over to 2026. And by so doing, they were advised not to add or make a new budget for 2026, especially for capital expenditure.
Yes.
You know, not to make a new budget. You know, and anybody that add anything, it will be yanked off, and the approval will be a challenge, and all those things. You know, and then we started pondering, this has not happened before. Yes, we know that before now, prior year budgets in Nigeria over the last few years always end around March the following year. You know, but this is the first time we are seeing a situation where to next year, and MDAs are asked and advised not to even come up with brand new projects. So I believe that this understanding or this reality may have necessitated the fact that government need to do something a bit different by force repealing the subsisting appropriation bill, that is 2025 appropriation bill, you know, and also enacting a new one. You know, to be honest, I'm not a guru in legislative work or assembly, but I believe that Nigeria shouldn't be running two budgets concurrently, 2025 budget and 2026 budget at the same time. And that understanding may or is responsible for this point that you raised.
This repealing and reenactment, because it's part of the norm that you can't spend anything from a previous budget. It must be clearly budgeted for, and if this kind of action is not taken, then we might have a situation where there'll be a financial go-slow, so to speak. Is that what this matter is, so that we don't have a log jam, a legal log jam?
To be honest, these are just legal maneuvering. You know, there is nothing different from the reality on ground in the economy. All of these things is just to make sure that legally we are on the right path, and also legislatively that we're on the right path. You know, all of these, none of them add to the fact that, hey, capital budget is going to be bigger or smaller, or is going to be faster or more effective. No. You know, all of this grammar is just about ensuring that the policymakers and the agents that we have elected to pilot the affairs of this country do what they are doing with the right legal and legislative framework. You know, to that extent, I think that what they are doing is right. And again, because this is quite unprecedented in this environment, we're also learning on the job or learning on the experience, you know, to see how all of this pans out. And this is why we said that our democracy is nascent, it's improving, it's growing, and we're learning.
I suppose the administration, the Tinubu administration, wants to be sure that it is on all fours with the legality of all that he does. I don't know if that was a sign that you were having a difficulty in hearing. We got you. We got you. And I hope our people have also seen that our guest has a difficulty in hearing us. But he was just making the point that not that this really affects very much the content of the budget, not that. But are you back to hearing us?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much. Okay, so I was just, you know, there was a time when there was a gap there, so I was just paraphrasing what you were saying. Now, all of this has been pushed forward by what? By 3 months, so that everything is legal, everything is accounted for, even as you said, no big difference in our planning. And I think, as you indicated at the beginning, most of this is because of the budget, the cycle of the budget. You know, it used to be a different framework, but now we're running from January to December, and so this is part of. Is it part of you know, a carryover in sort of getting it right and doing the legalistically correct thing, and then going forward in subsequent years, now that we sort of would have settled into a January to December cycle, we won't have this kind of a situation. Is that really all that it's all about?
You used one word there, carryover. I don't know whether you can hear me. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, you used one word there, carryover, and I just keyed into it. You know, when we are in school, in university, that word carryover is a very difficult word. Because whenever you hear carryover, it means that student have not performed very well.
Oh dear.
You know,
that's not the sense in which I meant it. but please, you could even go back further to when you're doing your arithmetic sums and when you carry over one and then you add it later on. But what you said you keyed into it? What was the significance of that?
Why I keyed into it is because the federal government have decided to carry over 70% of the capital budget provided for in 2025 budget to 2026. And make no mistake, when we hear 70%, people think, 70% is a big number. 70% of the budget, of the capital budget, is just a huge sum. It's just a huge sum. In 2025, the total capital budget was about 30% or a little bit below 30% of the 54 trillion approved. You know, out of that 30%, only 9% of that budget was being implemented in 2025. Then the remaining 21% is moved into 2026. Let's not confuse people that are not very good with numbers.
Really? Yeah. It's important. You're right. You're very right. Because we just see all these trillions upon trillions upon trillions, and we're wondering, so what's this all about? But here you are explaining this situation. That's why
for me,
you on.
You know, and the normal layman implication for me here is that virtually we're using 24 months to implement capital budget meant for 12 months. We're using 2 years to implement budget that should have been implemented in 1 year. That is just what it means.
Because you made the point earlier.
2 years to read a class or to pass an exam, you would have passed in 1 year. That is the layman's understanding of this.
Okay. Thank you very much.
That is that the road that would have been constructed within 12 months, the dam that would have been built within 12 months, the office premises that would have been built, the hospital that would have been built and refurbished within 12 months, we will now be extended to 24 months. And I'm saying that why the accounting principles, the legal principles we are trying to safeguard is fine for the optics. The actual implication of on the economy is not that welcoming. It's not that positive.
Okay.
It's not that positive.
How do you mean?
I don't know why this is being done, because the federal government have financial challenge implementing the capital budget or technical challenge implementing the technical budget. And that is why analysts have said that they need to hear more from the federal government what happened. You know, and where we can hear more what happened is to see the budget implementation report, the quarterly budget implementation report, supposed to be released by the Budget Office of the Federation under the Ministry of Finance. You know, this is where credibility, transparency, we really need help analysts to actually convey all of these things to the common man. You know, because if we have not done well in implementing the capital budget in 2025, we only did 9%. How are we sure, or what is that thing that we will trust so much to explain or convince us that in 2026, we're going to implement it better? You know, so these are some of the gaps or some of the areas that requires more transparency, more explanation from the policymakers.
Okay, more explanation, especially.
You know, not really on the accounting, legal maneuvering that we are currently working on.
Okay, maybe
because the capital budget, the capital aspect of the budget is the aspect of the budget that have the greatest impact on the common man, on the development of the country that we so earnestly yearn for. And this is the area of the budget that we're also handling with a lot of less than desired convincing approach.
Okay. Well, I don't know.
That is why I talk about carryover. You know, that carryover is not a really good good word in the academic learning environment. You know, and if we apply it to this, it also shows that something is not properly, I won't say properly, but something not too nice is happening around our budget implementation.
But the whole notion, I like very much the analogy you made for laymen, about, you know, taking 24 months to implement a budget that ordinarily, when everything is ship-shape, should have been done in 12 months. There no doubt must be financial reasons, but it's also been said that none of the MDAs should think of presenting any budgets this year because there still is outstanding. So just keep on doing what you're doing. All these legalisms and legal gymnastics, if I'm being fair with a use of that word, those have been sort of taken out of the way for you. Go ahead at your pace. 70% of the work that you have to do cannot be done reasonably. There's no way you think it can be done. So go ahead and take your time, but don't bring any fresh proposals. And I think that's the most, probably that would be the most important point, that nobody should bring forward anything for approval in the 2026 budget. If that is the correct understanding, so that they have a fighting chance and they are covered by law, but no fresh matter shall be introduced. I hope I'm not muddling it up for the rest of us that are laymen in this matter and are trying to understand it. As you did say, they're going to have to come and explain it a bit better for experts like you to get a better grasp of it.
Exactly. You are very, very correct. You know, you've even explained it as if you are an expert in this field. And
I just asked the questions.
The question I now ask myself is, okay, if we are not implementing the budget this year, there are people that are paid to implement the budget.
Yes.
You know, were they fully paid? Were they fully paid their salary or their allowances or whatever?
So those are the kind of questions that will come up. While I'm pondering, and perhaps the viewers are also pondering that, Mazi Okorafor has come on the line. Mazi Okorafor, can you shed light on this?
Merry Christmas and a prosperous New Year.
Thank you, Mazi. Thank you, Mazi.
Everybody, and the contributors.
Okay.
Honest, what the rest did was a very good one, because you know what happened. Research have shown that in Nigeria, when the budget had been made and the money were not used at the end of the day, what happened? You see the agency getting those money. So what they did that is a very that, so no person with that they start telling you stories to give you excuse. So thank God for the rest, for the staff are speaking. It will help that people will, and this will help us at the best one. How do people do that? To do what are said to their sections, they do what they will. Not a question of feeling dilly-dally at the end of the session. We got this spot or gas. The director will not bring one excuse. Before you talk about getting to the So money was budgeted, so money was budgeted. At the end of the day, the contracts were not even their own contractors. So nobody will give excuse for any contract that can be given to anybody, to group of people, or to companies that you cannot pay them. So it's our excuse whatsoever. So agencies, thank God for the sharp action of them. Go now and arrange yourself. Those one have executed their job completely 100%. Pay them, not to give them a excuse. Good morning, Sajuri. Best not to honor the American sports to use Sayuri and their family and honor them. Good morning.
Thank you very much.
Have a blessed day, Lagos.
Thank you very much, Mazi Okoroafo. We do wish you the same. Thank you. Dr. Wani, this, it sort of reminds me, I think the kind of thing you're talking about, or we're talking about here, back in the day, in the civil service, when the financial year was coming to an end and not all the money that had been budgeted had been spent, you used to see civil servants rushing around just looking for a way to spend this money, because this money will not be there come January. So whether it was useful or not, they would just be looking, putting papers forward. Is it that kind of a thing that is now being taken care of? Say, don't go there. Don't even go there. Just keep on doing what you're doing. Don't bring anything new forward. Don't hope that you can bring forward a new budget. That whole rushing to sort of spend the money that had been budgeted for the outgoing year. If we that are not budget professionals, if we understand it, is it something along those lines that this is addressing?
We find ourselves currently by moving all the 70% of our capital budget this year to next year will somehow address this scenario that you just painted, where from November, even from October, civil servants are looking for anything, bring their invoice,
yes.
That will, hot money, everything. And you remember that historically, in the fourth quarter of the year, inflation normally rise, price level normally rise because a lot of money is chasing limited goods and services. So this situation we find ourselves will clearly address that. But I ask myself, if we're really running a country right, is it supposed to be where civil servants will be shopping for invoice and to spend the money so that they don't carry it over the next year? Is it supposed to be? And carrying over a whole lot of 70% of the budget to next year doesn't appear to me that, I don't know, what we are gaining from saving, from stopping civil servants from behaving like this, I think it's a bit limited, if you ask me. If we are running our business as a country transparently, professionally, and with all levels of openness and integrity, I don't think that will arise. My thinking is that the major reason why we are carrying over this 70% is lack of funds. I think so. I'm not speaking for Minister of Finance or the presidency. I think it should be, because in my own family, or in the organizations I belong to, some of the things we don't get done are most likely because of money in the year. We have a budget and we don't do this or that. It's most likely because of lack of funds that was expected. And if I want to leverage on that experience, I will believe that lack of required funds may significantly explain why federal government is carrying over the 70% of the budget. And I ask myself, 2023, when the subsidy on petroleum products, especially fuel, was removed, we asked that Nigeria will be saving a whole lot of money, and this money will pump into budget implementation, into infrastructure, X and Y. The subsidy has been removed. What is going on? We also remove subsidy from energy, that's electricity. So the money we save from this, and make no mistake, also in 2025, as at October, Nigeria have borrowed more than we have exceeded the borrowing limit we set for ourselves in the year. We have exceeded it by 53 or 54%. We have borrowed about 15 trillion, where we should be borrowing about 9 trillion.
So, okay.
This money, is it just salary we use it to pay for and some other, we use it to pay salary and use it to pay interest on debt? Because I heard that our debt servicing expenditure is golfing almost everything we're generating as revenue in a country. So these are the challenges, and I believe that this lack of funds may explain why the federal government is doing everything they can to ensure that introduction of this new tax law or implementation of the new tax law takes effect from January 1, probably a way to bring in more people to pay tax and also get the people that are already paying tax to pay more, in a credible fashion and in a transparent fashion. Okay. I think it must be a revenue challenge somewhat, but again, we really need to also explain where we are in terms of the savings we've made from subsidy that was removed.
Okay. And I wonder what Benga in Abuja thinks about this. Good morning to you. Compliments of the season. Good morning.
Same to you, Mr. Yori. Good morning to your guest.
Thank you. He heard you.
You see, the extension or the movement of this budget, capital especially, to the next year is not a new thing in Nigeria. And I'm looking and I've been thinking there's a way they can stop it so that our budget will run, both the concurrent and the capital can run from January to December. But I'm telling you, Mr. Yori, by next year, March, they will still move it forward. Because some ministries, I'm in Abuja here, and I deal with a lot of all these issues. Some ministries are just publishing the tender for the budget now. I mean, for the capital budget, the project they want to do with the capital budget. I'm publishing it within like 2-3 weeks before. Before they get
no,
the financial
we still have
and then award the cost.
Okay.
Consultancy, at the capital bid. How long would it take?
We apologize to our viewers.
Before March.
Yeah.
Before normally.
Oh dear. The sound is drifting in and out. Winga, we're going to have to discontinue. But he did say a bit. He says, look.
Some things he was talking about.
Yes.
No, he was talking about the fact that he's in Abuja, and that makes it even easier than some of us in Lagos. He's in Abuja, and he's saying that, hey, that some of the ministries or MDAs are just about publishing the tenders for the capital aspect of their budget. And he is suggesting that even by March 2026, that the federal government will still need to extend the timeline for implementation. And I agree with him. It's true. After all, he's in Abuja and he's dealing with them every day. And you remember that when I came to this platform the last time, still talking about budget, at the end of the day, I submitted that there is need for comprehensive reform of Nigeria's budgetary system and budgetary landscape. There is need for reform. The way we have been reforming, we reformed our subsidy system. We're now reforming our tax. They are due for reforms, no doubt. I believe and I submit that there is need for total reform of Nigeria's budgetary system, both the budget preparation, budget approval process, budget making process, and budget implementation process. There is need for serious reforms. And these reforms will not just be reforms, but reforms that will be backed by law, the way that the tax reform is now backed by law.
Yeah.
Because if we have this reform, it will help us to know when the budget preparation starts and when it will end, the budgetary preparation timeline, budget approval and signing timeline, and budget implementation timelines. And anybody beating or abusing these timelines have to be punished under the law accordingly, without fear or favor. Because if the MDAs are just publishing the tenders now, it means that they are just waiting and say, okay, let's just wait, so that towards the end of the day, we just have a small window to just rush in and bring in different invoices where the chance or the time to maybe filter or delete or to check will be minimal, and we do what we needed to do. These are what we're talking about, transparency.
Yeah.
Our budgetary process is time we clean it up as a country.
Indeed.
Involving all stakeholders.
Indeed.
Involving all stakeholders. It's time, because if this document, this law called appropriation bill, is so powerful that is a document that tells us the plan of government and how the government intend to execute those plans financially in a year. It's a golden document. It's a document that helps government to fulfill their promise. The promise they made to us when they were campaigning for election or for offices. If this document is this important, then there is need to reform our budgetary landscape. Both the making, implementation, the reporting, and everything around it, including the stakeholders.
And what you are saying as an expert, I couldn't agree more with you. Because if anybody's going to do it, it's this Tinubu administration that has made a reputation for itself of being the reformist, a reformist kind of administration. It's one reform after the other, most of which have been hailed. But this that you are explaining, that also needs some reform, and it can be done because it's pretty confusing. Why things can't run along the simplistic, if you want, calendar of January to December, and just as you have said, we know by what time certain results should be on the table for examination. Very, very simple. Only the other day, I think I was hearing the president at an event saying that, look, governors are not doing what they need to do. They need to be paying to the local governments certain sums that have not been done. So much so that the president was even threatening that, well, if you won't do it, I'll deduct it at source and do what needs to be done. I think people have just gotten into a sort of a cycle of what is convenient and has been convenient over the years, and really don't want these kind of reforms. But what we're going to do is that, do stay with us, please, Dr. Vincent Nwani. Do stay with us. We'll take a quick break. We'll be right back, and I'll take your commentary on these, and hopefully other people can also weigh in on the matter and let us know what they feel about this. Stay with us, please. Thank you very much for staying with us. And Mr. George in Ikeja wants to weigh in on the matter. Dr. Vincent Nwani, economist and investment specialist, is our guest. Go ahead, please, Mr. George. Compliments of the season to you.
I wish you the same, Uncle Yori.
Thank you.
Good morning to the guests as well. Uncle Yori, let me first congratulate TVC as a station. I understand the station of the year 2025. That goes to prove what I've been saying, that it is the only TV station standing.
Thank
and I also heard that a number of your staff won awards this year too, including the special journalist.
Indeed. Indeed.
So congratulations, and expecting your elevation, Uncle Yori.
Thank you very, very much. Thank you very much.
Coming back to the topic, I think the best thing to do is to upgrade our budget cycle to 2 years, not every year.
Okay.
Because
that's another idea. Oh, we lost Mr. George. Dr. Nwani, what do you think of that? that was I didn't see that coming. Is it done anywhere like that?
I didn't hear anything when he was talking. Can you kindly just give me a hint so that I'll be able to contribute?
Intervened and cut him off. Was that one of the first things we should be looking to do is to first of all upgrade our budget to not an annual budget but 2 years. Oh, I can see that you even have a problem with hearing me too. Again, those that worry about these kind of matters and resolve them are seeing your signs, and they understand that you can't hear us. I don't need to say it, but they are working on it as we speak. Are you able to hear Dr. Nwani? Because they are on it right now, trying to jiggle the lines and do all that they need to do. But Mr. George, who called in, maybe he'll even call back in, but the bit that he did say was that perhaps we need to go away from the annual budget. Instead of doing what we're doing now, which is stretching this till January, till March next year, it should actually, let us just keep it at 2 years. Let us know that we have 24 months budget cycle. Thank you very much, Mr. Joshua Inire-Walide, for calling in. Good morning to you. Compliments of the season.
Good morning. How are you, sir?
Very well, thank you very much.
Yeah. And riding on what Mr. George just said, I was going to throw that line in a different way.
Okay.
But first, congratulations to your staff, everyone, and especially to you, Uncle Yori, for this thing. You see, you are helping to mold opinions that are actually sustaining the Nigerian nation. You are a Nigerian project, and you are dealing with the Nigerian project.
You're too kind.
I do appreciate you.
Thank you
for
very
the
much.
way you have been doing your things. You see, when everybody is saying it is over, we come to you, and you always place the discussion to give us hope. And it has always sustained Nigeria. I pray that you continue to soar and to be a blessing to this generation and to the ones to come.
Very kind.
You, sir. The way you do your thing is very great.
Thank you
Just to
very
weigh in
much.
on this matter this way.
Yes.
I think that we need the president to do something for us. You see, I've been listening to people, apart from your program that is a bit balanced. You know, in most places, you just hear people saying, they just talk about things they don't have any clue about. They just, Nigeria is dead. Nigeria is this. Nigeria is that. And you are just confused about what these people are saying. Some people talk about budget, and it shows to me very clearly that they don't understand what they are saying. They have no understanding of how finances work. And they talk authoritatively. This thing is, there's nothing going on in Nigeria. Project, they are stealing. You know, people don't understand things. And you have to give it to them that they will fill the gap when they don't know what is going on. Now, what I want to advise through your program, how you normally do it for us, the president needs to address the nation on his economic policies. You know, this came and said subsidy is gone, and the whole nation went wire. And since then, there has been lots of conversations around issues, and people don't even know what's going on. Now, I don't want the president to keep people guessing. He seems people don't understand his economic program. This man is an economist. He's an accountant, right? He was a former mobile staff. He understands
treasurer,
the papers that work in the economy. I'm sure what he met, it wasn't what he was expecting, and he's trying to work on something that is quite different from what has been ongoing. So why doesn't he address the nation and put forward his economic blueprint so that people will know what they are talking about, instead of all these guesses here and there, year budget, the other budget and all, like your caller just said, Mr. George, he said the budget cycle should go 2 years.
Yes.
2 years.
That was a novel one.
There is a distortion that this man made, and he's trying to correct. He should speak to that and let everybody understand what he's doing. Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, and also for your very kind words about Babajide Otitoju Kolade. Thank you very much for those kind words also to the station. Dr. Wani, he reiterated a point that Mr. George had made, that perhaps it's time for our budget to be 24 months. Not this annual budget. And so the first thing I wanted to ask you is that in your experience as an expert and an investment specialist, is it operated like that anywhere?
Thank you. This is a very pointed question. But before I go into that,
I also want to join the caller to thank and appreciate your platform for the job you are doing for the country and for advising me to use my headset. I think I can hear you better now. Having said that, you know, to be honest, like I said, my PhD was on budgetary processes, you know, for public sector.
Okay.
And to be honest, my studies so far have not seen anywhere in the world where the budgetary cycle is 2 years.
Okay.
Make no mistake, there will always be first place.
Of course, there's always a first time for anything. But the idea,
you know,
the concept of the idea, what do you think?
Budget, Yeah, I've studied budget on Europe, US, and everything, how they make their budget, the nomenclature, the laws guiding their budget. All the budgetary laws are 1 year, one fiscal year laws, and Nigeria can. But like I said, it still borders on reform. I mentioned.
Indeed,
it's going to be 2 years. It's going to be backed by law. That timeline has to be backed by law because there's a law that says that every year government must make budget. The president will come and read it and present it to the people and carry the big green and white box in all those picture optics. All those things we do, they are backed by budget.
Yeah.
By law.
By law.
That we're going to have budget office. They are all backed by law. So let's go back and make laws and follow the law. If it's going to be 2 years, if you even ask me, from 2 years, we will say that 2 years is no longer enough. Let it be one term of a president. Make it 4 years, you know, whatever, but let it be backed by law through a holistic reform. You can see all the consultation done by the Presidential Tax Reform Committee, you know, a stakeholder engagement up until it becomes a draft law and it becomes a law. These things takes time. And like you said, this administration can do it. This administration, if it ends today, it will be remembered, honored, and recognized as a reform administration. You know, they've taken on some of the hardest reforms in Nigeria. I'm not sure if budgetary process reform is even as hard as some of the ones that they have dabbled into and making some progress. So let them consider it, especially from second term, if God willing.
Dr. Wani, the jury of the public space is probably still out on the tax reforms in Nigeria. And I don't know that, I can't remember. Have we had a chance to discuss this and get your personal take on some aspects of our taxation reforms, especially as they are going to be, they're going to go live from the 1st of January. I see you chuckle there. I see you chuckle there. Go ahead, but be gentle. Go ahead, but be gentle. Be gentle.
I've been running from this topic. You know, everybody, even before this program, when I was grow, people called me from even outside the country. So, I want to use this platform to appeal to Nigerians. Over the last 2 months, I've been in different strategy sessions of companies.
Sorry, sir. I beg your pardon. Mr. George, who made that statement of suggesting we consider a 2-year budget, we lost him after he made that single point. He's back. So I'm going to put him on now. Yes, and then I'll come back and we'll continue with this one. Good morning, Mr. George, and thank you for coming back in.
All right. Good morning again, Uncle Yeri.
Thank you.
What I was trying to say is that the average implementation of budgets in Nigeria has come to between 35 to 40% every year. Hardly would you see a 50% performance. How long have you been calibrating budgets every year in, year out? And it is only the recurrent that is steady there.
Okay.
You know, I'm a realist. What is applicable in Nigeria may not be applicable in Nigeria. The budget system in our country, if you budget to construct a road, for example, the processes can take 6 to 8 months to complete. If you use 8 months to do the processes, how long will it take to construct the road when the contract is awarded? It certainly cannot complete in a year. That is the reality on ground. So we have to be realistic, not just be doing things because that is done in other countries. Look at your own situation and see what is best for your own environment. That's what made me to bring that
Okay.
suggestion.
But as our expert, I don't know if you heard, as he has said, well, he said, you know, he's studied budgets far and wide, and he's yet to come across anywhere where there is a 2-year system, even though there's always a first time for anything. But he wanted to make the point.
Practice, it doesn't mean that
okay.
The situation in Nigeria is not the same situation in Congo. It's not the same situation in Liberia. It's not the same situation in Ghana.
Okay.
So
yes.
Each situation is peculiar to an environment. If that is what is suitable for us, what is wrong in it? If it is a law,
if it is, thank you. If it is law, if it is a law, then there will be no problem.
The law is amendable as well.
Okay. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. George. Thank you very much. Dr. Wani, okay, we've run out of time, but you're going to touch on this taxation thing. You were running away from it. But in 1 minute, give us a capsule of your thoughts on the reforms in the taxation sector.
Since I have only 1 minute, I will use this opportunity to tell Nigerians to calm down.
Okay.
The nerves and all the hypertension and all the jittery about tax reform, you know, that is starting on January 1st, 2026. Calm down. It will be all right. You know, nobody is going to deduct our money just straight from the bank, 20% or 30% as speculated. You know, as time continues, more issues and more processes will be unveiled. The president and his team, they are human beings, and they also have relations like us. So let's just calm down. The only thing I can urge Nigerians is to keep on listening, keep on reading, keep on learning, and most important thing, as individuals, as companies, keep record of your income, keep record of your expenditure, because there may be a time where you will need to come and
contest
verify
something, or verify.
That will reduce your tax liability. Keep record. If you are not good in keeping record before, this is the time to start keeping record, and everybody will be good for it.
Well, thank you very much. And as you said, you condensed all of that into a 1 minute, and it was very encouraging. Well, thank you very much. As always, we do enjoy the benefit on this program of your, analysis and perspectives on matter. Dr. Vincent Wani is an economist and investment specialist. Once again, I wish you, compliments of this season. Thank you for always coming on our program when we invite. Okay, then, our pleasure. So, indeed, bye. That's our program today. Well, subsequently, we might be doing recaps, but by and large, let me say, do have a nice season. Let me just put it there, because the main season is going to be the Christmas and then into the New Year. And then, of course, when we start in January, we'll be looking at, maybe, shall I say, we'll be looking forward to things like tax reforms and the implementation and the actual takeoff. Well, and I think we also got in there, Dr. Wani had advised something that the president has always been saying, that all his men, all the executive, all the cabinet, they should go out there and let the people know exactly what is going on. Let them know what we're about, so that the confusion, well, maybe that was too strong a word, the apprehensiveness